Yo, welcome back to another Madden Simulation 2021 season. And unfortunately, Madden is on the losing end of things. They 2 for 4 to start the season so far, and last week unfortunately got it wrong once again. But it also didn't help that the San Francisco 49ers in Madden had Jimmy G and George Kittle playing, but it is what it is. I don't know what the roster's going to be if things change between now and Sunday, but do the best I can to make sure the roster's updated, and we go from there. So this week, we are doing a pair of 4-1 teams. We have the LA Chargers traveling to the East Coast to take on the Baltimore Ravens in a battle of potentially playoff dominance, So, let's strap in and see how this turns out. And, oh boy, okay.
From M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland.
Do we pause?
Well, from a city that normally gets only about 20 inches of snow a year,
No.
getting a pretty good wallop right now as we're at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore,
Do we?
Maryland.
It is the third week in October. I put random weather on. The question is, do I? Why aren't you cooperating with me? Well, let's skip into that. Oh, whatever. This is what you get when you put random weather on. I highly doubt there is snow in the forecast, but it is what it is. How much of a difference this is going to make, we'll just have to wait and see. But otherwise, let's get to how the teams are doing, how they got to where they are so far this year. I mean, Baltimore, they started the season, on the road, Monday night, in Las Vegas, and fell short in overtime to the Raiders, who are under a lot of scrutiny right now. Not really the Raiders, but, their former head coach, John Gruden, and his filthy mouth. I mean, I suppose diverse a little bit before I jump back on the Ravens. I mean, I don't know. In all honesty, I don't quite know the whole situation. Something about the Washington football team and their emails and what happened 10 years ago and whatever. But I mean, John Gruden, it all depends what type of email. It doesn't really what it depends on, in all honesty, I guess. Even if the emails are private, supposed to be private, meant to be private, nothing's private in this day and age, okay? People find out anything and everything, okay? And it's like, it doesn't matter how much you respect the individual, how much you like the individual, everyone's got their dark sides. And sure, they use language that shouldn't be used in this day and age, at least, especially for public figures, because as soon as the public finds out, it's boom, cancel country. And he said what he said. Either you can forgive and forget, but I wouldn't really suggest that. Forgive, maybe. Forget, probably not. But, I mean, is it going to change the individual and their persona? Probably not. That's just who that individual is and how they're going to act and behave. They have their public life and they have their private life. And it's when their private life gets tangled in with their public life and, you got a two-headed monster. But I'm not here defending John Gruden. What has happened has happened, And it's, time to move on. Unfortunately for the Raiders, they dug in deep with John Gruden. What was that? I don't even remember when he got hired for a second stint in with the Raiders, but obviously they were all in on him, and 10-year, basically ironclad contract. Excuse me. And that they didn't really want anybody else, and then to some extent that kind of infringes with the Rooney Rule, where they need to at least interview at least 1 to 2 minorities for the position before they have their handpick. I mean, Mark Davis, he knew he wanted John Gruden. He wanted to sign John Gruden, and so we'll interview Coach A, B, C, and D. Okay, we got who we wanted. Okay, and I mean, I'm fine with that to some extent. If a team, an organization, they want to hire a coach, they want to hire somebody to be their head coach, okay, let them. It's not like just because you have to hire interview people of color, of race, of gender to meet qualifications. Okay, fine. We'll interview this guy. It's not going to change our mind. We know who we want. We want this guy. So they're going to hire that guy. And whether it's the right guy or not, it's where the other situations like, well, we're not sure who we want. We know candidates A, B, C, and D are qualified. So let's hear their case and see what they bring to the table. And there you go. But I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, John Gruden's going to be on the down low and see if anything more will come forward tuition. If the Washington football team gets in trouble, if more emails leak out about other players, and so on and so forth, then we'll see. Ooh, early 4th and 1. Oh, look at just a gaping hole. But anyways, so that's all I gotta say about that, and we move on. But like I was saying before, the Baltimore Ravens, they started the season 0-1 and have racked 4 straight wins. Let's see if memory serves me correctly. They beat Kansas City. They beat Kansas City week 2 on Sunday night, and then who they beat week 3? Who they face week 3? Week 3 and week 4. No, I remember week 4 because that was Detroit. They were at Detroit, and they won on the 66-yarder and the no call on the delay game. And this past week they came from behind down 25-9 and came back to win 36-25 in overtime. Oh, look at that, and touchdown. Who did Baltimore beat week 3? Memory slipping me. I'm trying to think if it was their other NFC opponent or another AFC opponent. Let's see. And oh man, I think we're also into the byes finally. We're finally into the bye weeks. Oh yeah, that's right, Denver. Oh no, week 3 they beat Detroit. Week 4, as I couldn't remember, they went to Denver and beat up a beaten up, injured / COVID Denver team, and then they just came back from behind and beat Indianapolis on Monday night. So they're on short week, short rest, and we're taking on the Chargers. The Chargers, who on the other side, on the flip side, they started off pretty strong. They started the season on the East Coast, here in Maryland, taking on the Washington football team. Had a little rough going, struggle, but they took care of business and won. Then week 2, their only loss against them boys, losing to them boys in LA. But then this is where they have been ripping off. They've been on a 3-game win streak. They went to Kansas City, beat the Chiefs, beat their divisional rivals. Then they hosted the Raiders, and just on Monday night, they jumped out to, I think, a 21-0 lead, 21-7 lead, and ended up winning 28-14, and then was just in a dogfight last week against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, who are trying to make that leap to, to become division champions, to make a push for the Super Bowl. They made the playoffs last year for the first time since 2002, I think. 2001? Something like that. I think the Browns was the last time they made the playoffs was 2001, prior to the realignment. And big old dogfight, back and forth. Browns had the lead at one point, 42-31. No, that doesn't sound right. But they ended up coming back, winning 47-42 at home. Whoa. That's a little shocking. Some different news. The St. Louis Cardinals just fired their manager. Mike Sheldon reportedly out as Cardinals manager, 252-199 record since taking over for Mike Maneth during the 2018 season. That's a little surprising, even though the Cardinals had that late surge in the season. I know I'm switching sports now, but I love sports. So we'll talk whatever. That's just what I saw on my phone. We'll get back to this game in a wee bit. I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals had a 17-game winning streak. They had that late push in August and September, got hot when it mattered, clinched the playoff spot. Unfortunately, lost the one-game playoff game against the Dodgers. And they made the playoffs last year, and they had to have made the play. Oh, yeah, I think they won the division in 2019. So I'm a little surprised. And the Wisconsin sports talk show I listen to, radio over the line, I'm sure they'll talk about that in a little some tomorrow, and wondering why he got fired. And I know why the Brewers are sticking with Craig Counsell, legendary, 2-time World Series champion Craig Counsell. But I digress. We're here to mainly talk about men. We're here to talk about football. Other sports are going to come up from time to time, I guess. Because, I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at right now between these two franchises. 4-1. One, I can guarantee you there will not be snow in Baltimore this Sunday, okay? I would have hoped that Madden would not do this. Like, I could have just went with overcast, I could have went with sunny, I could have said, oh, let's make it rainy. I could have looked at the forecast, what it's probably going to be like, but hey, excuse me, But it's like, it's October 17th when the game's going to be played. It's not going to pick snow. It picks freaking snow. It's like, come on. I mean, stranger things have happened, I guess, but we'll leave it in for now. That's the things when you pick random weather. But but like right now, we all knew Baltimore was going to be a team pushing for a division title, pushing for some playoff wins, pushing for, getting back to the Super Bowl. With the find their quarterback, I mean, when it's John Harbaugh, or is it Jim? No, it's Jim. Jim's in Baltimore. John's in Michigan. I'm bad. It doesn't help that both names start with H. No, okay. Jim, Michigan. John, Baltimore. No, take me back to Jim. Jim, he played. Yeah. He played in the National Football for 14 years. Jeez. John Harbaugh. He didn't play in the NFL. Because I know I have a Jim Harbaugh football card somewhere. Then.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a first and 10.
Yeah, he didn't play in the NFL.
Jackson running again.
John. Jimmy, old boy, he did. Jimmy played as a player. He played for the Bears, the Colts, the Ravens, ironically, Chargers, the Lions, and the Panthers. But off-season or practice squad members those years. But okay. Oh jeez. Anyways. Okay, what was I getting to? John Harbaugh, when he came in the league in 2008 as the head coach for the Ravens, because was it, I think Brian Bellick, is it Brian Bellick? Was he? Now I'm confused on there. Let's see, Baltimore Ravens. List of head coaches for the Baltimore Ravens. They've either had 3 or they have had 4.
Especially on third down.
Yeah, that one. How about the defense? Figured that one out in a big way. Yeah, they
Okay,
completed it all right
so
and lost yardage.
Ted Marshabroda. I have no idea. He's gotta be. Yeah, he did. He was the inaugural head coach for the Baltimore Ravens when they moved from Cleveland to Baltimore and renamed the Ravens. He served 3 years. He was 48-16. Or no, he had 48 games. He was 16-31, and they had one tie. Trying to think, that tie had to been in 98. As I know, in 96 and 97, there weren't any ties. In 98 season, there had to been a tie that year. Let's see, I think the Falcons and Steelers tied. Excuse me.
He dumps it to Eckler underneath. And they'll take him down at the 31.
No, it wasn't 98. What year was it then? Unless that was that wasn't his overall record. Yeah, no, it was 96 there was a tie? No, it was 97 season. Man, and that's the thing I hate most. It was against Philly. I knew Philly had a tie in there too. Philly has had a handful of ties, but not as many as Green Bay. Green Bay has had the most ties since the introduction of overtime. Okay, but anyway, so their first head coach was there 3 years, 96 to 98. And then you had Bill Belichick, 9 season, 99 to 2007, and I don't know if he overstayed his welcome. I mean, he helped build that, 2 years. He was there for 2 years. They won the Super Bowl in 2000. That defense. Boom, boom, boom. But then it went downhill from there. And I think it was, I think in 07, basically, he lost his job because they lost to the 0-14 Miami Dolphins at the time. And the writing was on the door, I'm pretty sure. So he gone. And I mean, the Ravens have only been around since 96. So right now they're in their 25th? No. So, and this might be their 26th season. Sounds about right. Last year would have been their 25th season. Or 20th season. No, 25th, yeah. Man, I can't do simple math. Anywho. Yeah, anywho. He was there for 9 seasons. He had coached for 144 games, and he was 80 and 64. So, winning record. Playoffs, he was 8-5. He had 8 playoff games. He was 5-3. And, boom, boom, boom. And then he was like, then John Harbaugh the third. They've only had 3 head coaches. The same number of coaches the Steelers have had since 1970.
So in even territory now. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 46. Herbert.
But that's also saying something. The Browns, they moved to Baltimore and rebranded, refranchised as the Ravens in 96. And they've only had 3 coaches since. The Browns have come back in the league in 99, and they've had, I don't even want to know. I'll look that up in a minute. But then John Harbaugh's been there since 98. He had Joe Flacco. They made the playoffs countless times. But then after that Super Bowl victory, Joe Flacco, he got his money, and they couldn't pay anyone else. And they went downhill. And then Flacco gets hurt and stuff like that, so they get rid of him. They draft Lamar Jackson. He didn't start right away, but they threw him in, and then he's been successful ever since, more or less. And becomes the only second player to have unanimous MVP, win MVP unanimously behind Tom Brady, but they've kind of squandered in the playoffs. So, okay, I need to know list of Cleveland Browns head coaches. I need to know how many head coaches they have gone through since coming back from the merger, or not merger, since 99. Okay, here we go. So, I'm not going to count interim head coaches, but that's an irony there. Bill Belichick. No, I already knew that. Bill Belichick was the final head coach prior to the moving of the team, and then he like, I ain't coming with her. They let him go. And then they've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost 3 times the amount of head coaches the Ravens have had in the same time span.
For this next drive. They're out in front. Last time they had to punt it away. We'll see if they can add to their lead now.
They don't want to go out and punt it away again. This team now wants to get a couple, put people away. They want to run their offense and have it end up in the end zone.
So, okay, after one quarter played, the Ravens are still up 7-0. They're at their own 20. And, oh, there we go. And,
And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
Well, you don't turn your nose up at a gain of 4, do you? They'll take that on first down. Playbook's got to be pretty well open on 2nd and 6.
Second and 6. Now it's Jackson. This one swung out to Williams. And he gets this one just shy. Down at the 39. They get 14.
Okay, we'll see how this drive goes, and we'll get to the rest of the standings. We already know Baltimore is 4-1. LA Chargers, they're 4-1. I'm still having issues trying to call them LA Chargers, because for most of my life they were the San Diego Chargers. A little heartbroken. When teams move, I mean, to some extent, okay. Actually, no, LA and San Diego, okay, here. What is the distance between San Diego and Los Angeles? Yeah, it's 120 miles. Almost a 2-hour trip. So, I mean, yes, it's up the coast. And that's, okay, they stayed in the state. They went up. They drove up the state, whatever. I wonder how long it would take from north to south, how long it would take to drive from California. But for the most, the Chargers, they did start in LA. Then they moved to San Diego, and they were in there for 50 years. So it's just that there's a fan base there, and when they moved to LA, they didn't travel. It sucked that the county and the city don't want to pay for a new stadium or renovate the stadium. They gave the Padres, the baseball team, they gave them a new stadium 10 years ago, because I think they used to play in the same ballpark. But it's just kind of sad when teams move. But what they say, if someone closes the door, someone opens a window type thing. So I'm still trying to get used to calling them the LA Chargers. And at least they're still in the same state. They're just up the road, so on and so forth. It's not like, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, I mean, the Chargers, they got their quarterback. Like, both these teams got their quarterbacks of the future. They got their franchise quarterback. The only real question is Lamar Jackson legit to some extent? He has the legs, but we all know about running quarterbacks. They don't last forever. Justin Herbert. I mean, Herbert. There's no U in there. In all honesty, I can't tell you how good he is. All I know is he's good. He's young, and that the Miami Dolphins decided to draft Tua Tagovailoa instead.
On first down, it's Herbert.
But, I mean, I always laugh at that. It's like, well, this team could have drafted this quarterback, or this team could have drafted that quarterback. Yeah, well, it depends if you fit their system. Just because you're good doesn't mean you're going to become great. I mean, that's true about any player in any position in this sport. You can be great in college, but you get drafted to the wrong team and you don't fit their system, then you suck. You know? And you see that everywhere. Players get resurgence, players bounce back. I mean, okay, the Chicago Bears could have drafted Patrick Mahomes instead of Mitch Trubisky at number 2 overall. But they didn't. And even if Mahomes would have played for Chicago, would he have been the same player that he is now for them? Who knows? You know, it just depends on the environment. And now, like the Chicago Bears, they say we got our quarterback. We got our quarterback now. Justin Fields. Well, only time will tell. I mean, everyone thinks that, but only one team wins it every year. The other 31 come up short. And we go from there. But anywho, let's dive into this. Let's take a look at standings in the NFL. Well, we got a crucial third down.
Chargers on third down, just 1 for 3 thus far.
No, what's this? Is that Arizona? Yeah, apparently.
They'll try to pick up the first with Eckler.
Arizona Cardinals receive 3 positive COVID tests this week, sources say. I mean, that's still that's okay. That's still a problem. I'm trying to think no problemo, but that's still an issue. Those
finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10.
It's still COVID. I mean, you haven't heard as much this year like last year, but it's just we'll see. I don't think it's going to force the Cardinals to forfeit to the Browns. You just have to work around it. But here we go. Let's dive into the current standings in the NFL and how things are shaping up and so forth. And we start off in the AFC East. Excuse me there. Herbert. Oh, bounced off. Herbert. In the AFC is no big surprise unless you saw my Madden simulation to start the season, to simulate the season through Madden. The Buffalo Bills are 4-1 and are on top of the AFC East, and I think they're on top of the AFC more or less. They've, after losing week 1 to Pittsburgh at home, I don't know how, but it's just week 1, aka week 4 of the preseason, and they've rattled off 4 straight, and they've just looked dominating, especially last week against Kansas City in Kansas City, which is mind-boggling. But anyways, they're 4-1. They're on top of the AFC East, followed by New England, who's 2-3. Still trying to find their way after letting Tom Brady walk. And then you have the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets at 1-4 apiece, respectfully. No surprise. It's like the AFC East. You had New England top dog for 20 some years, more or less. And now finally, the roles have changed, and now it's Buffalo. But the Dolphins, oh, look at that. Oh, Dolphins have been hit or miss, and the Jets still suck. AFC North, we have, like I said before, the Baltimore Ravens. They are 4-1, and on top of the North in the AFC side, followed by Cincinnati and Cleveland, respectfully, at 3-2. Oh, and I'll get to that Cincinnati Green Bay game in a little bit, probably, maybe in the second half. I don't know how I didn't talk about that so far. But both teams, and Cleveland, no big surprise of being 3-2. Cincinnati, on the other hand, yes. And I mean, you look at who Cincinnati has played. They have beaten Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville. And it's like, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, that's a little surprising that they got past those two teams. Jacksonville, no, not really. But yet you look at their two losses. Chicago on the road. It's like, okay, road game. And at home against Green Bay. Well, Green Bay is supposed to be a Super Bowl contender and a better team. So, okay, you can see why they would lose to them, but they almost snuck one away. But then bringing up the rear, not too far behind now. They've got a little respect. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 2-3. Steelers, like I said, they started the season beating Buffalo. And then they lost 3 straight. And then were able to bounce back against a beat-up Denver team. So what? Yeah, we're 7-7. Because Pittsburgh then lost to Oakland week 2, Cincinnati week 3. No. Rewind that. They lost to Green Bay week 3, lost to Cincinnati week 4.
The offense for the Ravens returns to the field and hoping to do better than they did
in
the last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line.
Yeah. Well, they lost to Oakland, Cincinnati, and Green Bay, and they beat Denver and Buffalo. I'm just trying to put my timelines together.
Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at
No.
27.
Okay, Pittsburgh lost to Oakland, Cincinnati, Green Bay. Then they beat Denver. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's just, oh man, I know as well as the season gets further along, I ain't gonna remember everyone. So it's a little surprising to see Pittsburgh is down there when they're usually one of the top tier teams. Anyways, then we move on to the AFC South. This has to be. Yes, they are by far. It's close. Just looking at the divisions. If I do a division power rankings, AFC South, you have Tennessee at 3-2, followed by Houston and Indianapolis at 1-4 apiece, respectfully, if you want to say that. And then bringing up the rear is Jacksonville at 0-5. And I think Jacksonville might have a shot this week. And when I do my picks for the week, I'll let you know. And it's hard to tell. The AFC South has to be, out of the 8 divisions, they have to be the last. The 8th and 8th. Just because you have 3 teams with a combined record of 2-13, and your division leader is not that far behind at 3-2.
Hopefully you can hem him in.
Now Jackson taps this forward jet sweep, and he'll lose yardage on the play back at the
And then in the AFC
45-yard
West, this
line.
is,
Well, I think the hope is, with a touch pass like that,
no,
maybe
I'd say
takes
you're
the
number 2 in the
defense
power
off guard,
rankings
but
for
they were
division-wise.
that one.
And it is the kind of play
You got LA Chargers. Things are clicking for them this year. They're finding their stride. They got their quarterback. Just bang, 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 bang. They're 4-1, followed by
Off the play,
Las
fake,
Vegas and Denver,
Jackson.
respectfully,
He's going deep for Brown. Got a man.
at 3-2. Both
Inside the 10.
at one point,
It's a gain of
those three teams only had one loss.
There's two sides to this
But
coin.
the Raiders, starting the season 3-0, have now lost 2 straight. They're having some internal issues, so who knows how that organization and that franchise is going to go moving forward. We might have just seen the last of how the Raiders work. Oh. And even with those 3 wins to start the season, it was 2 of them were in overtime, so they were close.
just inside the 10.
And then the other one was against Pittsburgh, and that was dominating. And then Denver, same thing. They started the season 3-0, but yet you played both New York teams of the Giants and the Jets, and Jacksonville, I believe. And then you played some real teams. And surprise, surprise, the Kansas City Chiefs. Super Bowl hangover, losing the Super Bowl, maybe. They are 2-3, bringing up the rear.
Good yardage on first down. Now can they punch it in on 2nd and goal? To throw again is Jackson.
Oh, touchdown.
And he is in.
Oh, man, he slid. Why would you slide dive?
Jackson.
Because if you slide too soon, before the ball crossed the plane, he's going to be down at the 1 or inches.
Well, that was all Lamar Jackson all the time on that drive.
So that's how the AFC looks. We'll jump to the NFC in a little bit.
Yeah, how about him doing things a little bit on the reverse side there, Brandon, because he softened him up throwing the football and opened up the running lanes. And when he gets a little bit of a sliver, he's gone. And that's exactly what he did there.
So Baltimore jumps out to a 13-7 lead. We'll see how the extra points go. Hopefully it's not like
And he's got it. It's now a 14-7
Yeah.
ball game.
So, okay, NFC standings. We start off in the NFC East. Them boys, they're running away at 4-1. By some people's dismay, it's no surprise. Me, a little bit. After seeing how crappy the NFC East was last year, and a little surprising, but the Cowboys are healthy. The Cowboys they have a highly successful head coach, and
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
they've played, I don't want to say easy opponents, but
Take it in at the 3.
it is what it is. You got to play who's on your schedule.
And he'll be stopped
You don't make it up, the
25.
league does. Then we got the Washington and Philadelphia, respectively, at 2 and 3.
Austin Eckler and the Chargers.
Washington, I really thought would be better. Their defense, I thought, was going to help them, but not so much. Philly, I'm not surprised. You got a new head coach, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then the New York Football Giants bring up the rear at 1 and 4. And last year, it was like, who wants to win this division? Nobody. So who's going to lose to win stuff like that? Oh. Oh, you got excuse me. Anyways, we move on to the NFC North, and you got my Green Bay Packers at 4-1, starting the season off on a heartbreaking loss. Or, well, not really, just an ugly loss to the Saints in Jacksonville. They have bounced back 1-4 straight to show their dominance. even knowing they now have anytime Mason Crosby runs out there the kick, you'll be holding your breath. But 4-1, then I mean they did finish second last year in the division. You have the Chicago Bears at 3-2, right behind Green Bay. And you got Minnesota, who's 2-3, who to some extent, okay, their 3 losses came week 1 against Cincinnati, where they could have won. Week 2, where they had a missed field goal, and week 4 against Cleveland. Is that last week? And I mean, Minnesota could easily be 5-0. They could be in first place in this division. You know, their 2 wins came against Detroit and Seattle, and a last-second field goal against Detroit. But it's Detroit, and that's the reason why Detroit, who's at the bottom of the division, is 0-5. Detroit just can't close out games. They lost to the Ravens thanks to a 66-yard field goal. Okay, they came up short week 1 against San Francisco. They were down they were way behind, but they were lost by 8 points. Then they were winning at half against Green Bay week 2, but then were shut out in the second half. You can't win if you don't score. Was week 3? I think was that week 3? I think that was week 3. Week 3 was the loss against Baltimore. Week 4, they were ugly against Chicago, and then week 5 this past week they went for 2 to take the lead, and they got it. But Minnesota just had too much time. And so now they're 0-5. I mean, so they had their chances. There was like 2 or 3, 2 games that they could have won, for sure. And then we move on to the NFC South. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are 4-1, defending, reigning, undisputed Super Bowl champions, NFL champions. And you got Carolina and New Orleans respectively at 3-2. Carolina's a little surprised. It's like, where'd this come from? New Orleans, like, well, we're still having quarterback issues, but hey, we're getting things done. And then Atlanta is 2-3, so they're all still alive. And then finally in the NFC West, which I still believe is the best division in all of football, followed by, to be honest, probably the AFC North. Well, here we go. NFC West, AFC West, AFC North. NFC South, NFC North, AFC East, NFC East, and AFC South. But anyways, Arizona, the last remaining undefeated team, they're in first place in the West, followed by the Rams, LA Rams, who are 4-1. Because their only loss so far came against those Cardinals. Then Seattle and San Francisco, respectfully, 2-3. And Seattle is now without their star quarterback, Russell Wilson, thanks to a torn ligament in his throwing hand, his middle finger. Well, he has hand on one of the Rams helmets or vice versa, and he tried to bend his finger, and his finger just didn't want to bend. It just stayed in place like such. Flush to his right, and he'll take this beyond the line of scrimmage as he slides to a hole and wind up with positive yardage. It's a gain of 3, but now it's and if for some reason the playoffs were today, this is how it would look like. On the AFC side, the Chargers would have the number 1 seed, followed by Baltimore, Buffalo, and Tennessee, while Cincinnati, Las Vegas, and Denver would be the 3 wildcard teams. Where was he throwing it to? And on the NFC side, you would have Arizona with the number 1 seed and the only bye, followed by Dallas, Tampa Bay, and Green Bay, and then LA Rams, Chicago, and Carolina.
They were trying to tell us is they believe it's
Yeah,
a
I think
matchup
so.
game at that point, and they like some matchups that they had.
So this should be a chip shot for Tucker. There you go, through the upright.
Tucker's kick right there. It's good. And they will move on to 10 now, 17-7.
One, two, 3, 7.
And that's exactly what you're looking to do. Maneuver yourself into range. That way, if your drive stalls out, you're able to get something out of it.
Oh, let's do these. Buys for the NFL in Week 6. Or
So not much time to
list of teams for bye weeks for the 2021 NFL season.
And not wanting to risk anything here
I
late
don't
in the
care
half, they'll
who
just
has.
take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25.
So the Falcons, the Saints, the 49ers, and the Jets all have byes this week. The Falcons and the Jets both had played in London this past week, and I think Miami and Jacksonville played in London this week, so they'll probably have byes the following week. And I mean, this is a little late for byes starting Week 6 in the NFL, but you have 4 teams taking a bye right now. Okay, I really feel like since now we have 17 weeks in the regular season, or 18 weeks in the regular season. Okay, 18 weeks, you have 8 divisions, just somehow make bye weeks 4 weeks in the middle of the season around, weeks 8, 9, 10, 11, okay? And you just have 2 divisions each, if easy. Whichever divisions are scheduled to play each other interconferencely, like this year, AFC North and NFC North, say they have Week 9 off. And it's the AFC West and NFC East, they have Week 8 off. Those 8 teams don't play that week. Well, there we go, halftime. Probably go run, use the bathroom real quick since it's halftime, and then be right back.
As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome, everybody, to our abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome in, everyone, to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. The snow certainly making conditions difficult, and it's not likely to get better anytime soon. As we turn it right back over to Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thank you very much as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. Not much has changed since we left you at halftime. The snow still continuing to fall as we are back underway. On the return is Duvernay. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter.
Okay, we are back. And who got? 17-7 at half. Sheesh, I missed that second touchdown by Baltimore. But anyways, okay. But looking back at Week 5, there was like a record amount of missed kicks. Let's see. How many missed kicks were there in Week 5 of the 2021 NFL season? Here we go. And believe me, I saw most of them in one game. Kickers struggled to find themselves. NFL kickers made 10 game-winning field goals at either the end of regulation or overtime. You can watch them all here. Blah, blah. Week 5 got off to a bad start. And even on that Thursday night game. But in Week 5, kickers missed 12 extra points, which ties an NFL record. Kickers also missed 12 field goals on the day. It's the first week to have at least 10 missed field goals and at least 10 missed extra points since the touchdowns was moved back 15 yards. Jeez. So they had 24 missed kicks in Week 5. And unfortunately, 3 plus 2 plus 6 of those missed kicks, 1 extra point, and 5 field goals were in the Green Bay Cincinnati game. And I didn't think too much of the missed extra point by Mason Crosby earlier in the game. Like, oh well. I mean, that's why they moved it back 15 yards to not make the extra point a gimme. But yet the 2-point conversion is still at the 2-yard line. So, and it didn't really hurt Green Bay, not until near the end, when Cincinnati did end up tying the game at 22 apiece, and with about 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in regulation, Green Bay lines up for a field goal attempt to take the lead, go up by 3, and Mason Crosby just shanks it to the left. And it's like, after making like 27 in a row, and like all season, I mean, he hit the game winner in San Francisco, so you know he's good from 50 something. He can do it, but every venue is different. But anyways, it was coming. It's that pressure off his right side. I think is just getting to him because the blocking on that side has been horrible all season. We had that blocked field goal that was overturned, and that's where it came from his right. And I just think, oh well, here we go. Oh well. So Cincinnati, they had a shot with a little over 2 minutes left, and with about 26 seconds left, they line up for a field goal attempt. And I forget, it was like 51, 50-yarder. It was a good. He's on the left hash mark. Their kicker lines up, kicks it, and it's off the right upright. So there's 21 seconds left in regulation. Green Bay has the ball. No timeouts. No problem. Just even if you throw the ball in the middle of the field, you just got to hurry up and spike it. Worst case scenario, you go to overtime. What happens? Aaron Rodgers hits Devontae Adams. Boom, middle of the field. And lines up, spikes the ball. Game winner. 3 seconds left. Crosby. Snap, place, kicks, and it is no good. And it's like, oh my God. So we go to overtime. First play in overtime, Cincinnati throws an interception. Joe Burrow has got his receiver, just didn't go the way he wanted. He threw it right to Green Bay and said, here we go. Yes, next score wins, because don't get me started on overtime rules and so forth. If there's a tie, we'll have a huge discussion about that. Okay. I thought he was going to be going for a touchdown. But, yeah. Unfortunately, Green Bay really couldn't get the ball any closer. on 2 plays on 3rd down. They bring out Crosby, line him up for a field goal attempt, and he missed once again. It's like, come on. Do we even have faith in him? If they have to try another field goal attempt, do we even look, hold our breath, or what? I don't know. Then Cincinnati, they get the ball, they take over. They remove 5 minutes from overtime, so we only have 10 minutes to play. Which I'm not a big fan about that. And Cincinnati, they boom, 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 move the ball. Okay? Excuse me. They line up for a game-winning field goal in overtime. The kick spot, place kick is up. It is veering to... He was on the left hash mark. It was veering to the right, but then Swift back to the left and hit the flag. Hit the flag on the goal post. Hit the flag, and it was no good. And he thought the kicker and his teammates thought it was good. And they're jumping, celebrating. And he looked, and he's all confused. It's like, what? What? It's good. No, and he thought the refs were trolling him. It's like, no good. It's like, yeah, the referees are going to troll you. And like, oh, just kidding, it's good. You guys win. It's like, no, they're not going to say no good and be like, yeah, we were just joking. No, the refs are impartial and call it down the middle. Oh, 4th and 2 here. Oh, they get standing. Yes, the Chargers jump offside. No, hands off, and he's got the first down. But then Green Bay gets one last shot. On 3rd and long, they converted, but the refs say no, you were short by inches. It's 4th and inches. Like, oh, fine, whatever. 2-minute warning, fine. Rest. Send Crosby back out there. Someone's got to win. Touchdown. And Crosby finally nailed it. Finally hit it. And it's a sigh of relief. Like, oh, he can make one again. And it's a mental toll on kickers. Okay? I was happy that the game's over. Green Bay won. It was one of those, like I said last week, I thought Cincinnati, wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati won, but I'm still going to pick the Packers. But it's a toll on kickers. That was 2018, I think it was. Mason Crosby, Green Bay faced Detroit, in Detroit, and he missed like 6 kicks. 1 extra point and 5 field goal attempts. And it's like, oh. But the 6-1 was good or something like that. Ugh. And just before the game ended, Green Bay was in field goal range. They decided, well, we'll try one more kick. And Crosby made it. And of course, what happened the following week? Crosby kicked a game-winning field goal.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
And no.
Here comes Nasir Adderley from his end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been.
And prior to that, he had a horrible 2012, I think was the season. He had a horrible season. Because in 2013, they brought in a kicker in preseason, and he boosted Crosby's confidence. So, man, Chargers need to do something to turn this around.
A play fake, and now Herbert to throw. That'll be complete to Cook. That catch good for only a couple.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs.
Ugh.
Give their defense a
I
chance
don't
to
know what
settle
it
down
is.
a little bit
If
after
it's
they
just
give up a touchdown.
chilly in my room, or I can get much sleep. Just been yawning. And you know what it says? When one person starts yawning,
On second down,
there's a chain reaction.
Lose yardage and be backed
So
up to the 25. A yard in the wrong direction.
39. Yeah, these Chargers need to turn it around here.
You've got to figure the further they fall behind, the more you think that they'll get away from the run. They're trying to stick with it, but the results, they just aren't there.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Now Herbert with it, looking to pass. And that is incomplete.
And those two just
Ooh.
haven't been in sync thus far. They've done a nice job against him, but still.
Oh, let's see if I can find this real quick.
To him in this game.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Here's Ty Long now as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today.
Oh, something tells me it's going to be a lot closer of a matchup, especially how Chargers had played against Kansas City, how they played against the Browns. I mean, I understand this one's in Baltimore. It's a 1 o'clock local start time.
Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared.
Especially how Baltimore acted against Indianapolis on Monday night. They were behind to begin with and had to come rally back.
Baltimore with good starting field position as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 43. They begin the drive with Williams.
Ooh, nice stiff arm.
And able to work about 5 yards out of this as he's taken down up near the 47.
Trying to think what else happened this past week, or this last week of Week 5 of the NFL. We already talked about John Gruden and all that. If anything, I don't know.
From the gun, Jackson.
Don't really have anything else to touch, but we'll just leave that as that.
Down to the 47 here.
Um,
Maybe not exactly what they had in mind, but
I mean, it was interesting with the Kansas City Buffalo game this past Sunday night is that we had a 1 hour weather delay, I should say, because of the weather. I mean, you had thunderstorms in the area, you had lightning, and there is no roof. There's no stadium. Okay? Then
off the option, here's Williams.
Weather delay makes sense because there's no roof on the stadium. Unlike LA, I don't know why the Chargers and the Raiders had a weather delay.
Coming up on 2nd and 7. And now Jackson will look to throw it.
Plenty of time. Going, oh.
Looking sideline.
Out of bounds.
Just that first read that you have, maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
And the line to gain here is the 37 on 3rd down. Jackson. First down and more for Jackson. And finally,
I think I saw some crazy stat like Lamar Jackson has more yards offensively than like half the league, or 12 teams, including the Green Bay Packers. It's like, okay, that's nice.
has been going their way for the most part. I saw that lane start to develop. Boom. He took advantage of it.
God.
From the red zone now, here's Jackson on first down. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Andrews.
And then I know
7
definitely
yards to
people
pick up there.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much.
People don't care about this. I finally won a game in my fantasy football league.
Working with a 2nd and 3.
I showed Yahoo projecting that I wouldn't go 0-15 or whatever. Showed you.
Here's Williams. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. They got 2 of the 3 they needed there. Leaves them with 3rd and just a yard.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. This will be play number 7 on the drive. 3rd and a yard. They run it again with Williams.
Ooh, just shy of the end zone.
Before he's brought down at the 3.
Oh, speaking of fantasy.
Give him 7 yards on the play, and they do pick up the conversion on 3rd down. Lots of praise on
I
this
just
drive.
don't know
I
who.
know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling
Who I
their
want to
business at the
start.
line of scrimmage and dominating right now on
Just gotta try to keep that momentum going, and it's always a week by week thing. Like, oh, on my bench, players A and B, they scored a combined 40 points. Let's put them in this week. And you guys on my lineup got me nuts. And then they beat ice cold the ones that were red hot versus, and the ones I bench are red hot that week. Well, we'll see how this drive goes. When we get to the 4th, we'll be doing my picks. Obviously, there's only 28 games, right? 28 games this week? 30 games this week. No, man, there can only be 16 games per week. So there's 14 games this week because 4 teams have a bye. Duh. And no, he fumbles it. Oh, jeez. And of course, I've been drinking way too much water. Now I gotta use the bathroom again. But I don't think I'm really gonna miss much right now. Ravens up 30-7. Probably gonna make the extra point. So.
Probably thought they were about to give it up in the red zone and then touchdown.
Yeah, there is absolutely no way that they drew it up and said this is the way it's supposed to be done. It just happened.
But the end will justify the means. Now Tucker to add the PAT. And the lead is now 24. A 10-play drive that time. And it's capped off by a touchdown run of 6 yards. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. Here comes Nasir Adderley from his end zone. And ultimately, he stopped right where he would have been if he had simply gone down to a knee at the 25. Here's a Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Herbert and the Chargers now with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. He'll hand off here to Eckler. And a nice run past the 30-yard line there. 97 yards for him on the ground now, as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
A good run got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. Now it's Herbert. Nowhere to go for Herbert, and he's going to go down. Justin Houston making his presence felt there in the backfield. Well, they sent him on the blitz from that linebacker spot, and boy, he got there quickly.
He certainly did, and obviously he could have used a block from his running back, but I think you nailed it right there. The defender got into the backfield so fast, it's hard for anyone to react.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Draw play, it's Eckler. And they're going to get him down well short of the first, as he can only get this to the 30. 4 yards on the pickup there, but it's going to take him to 4th down. Here's Ty Long now, as he's on for the 5th time here today.
I didn't miss much there. Chargers going what? 3 and out to end the quarter. So we go to the final quarter. 31-7. Baltimore just decimating. Whew. Sun shining. But since we get to the final quarter, let's go and take a look at the games for this week. And
the Raven offense set at the line this next drive. They've got a chance now to put this game away following that last defensive stop and punt.
Let's take a look at the games for the week and give my predictions. And look back at last week and see how we do.
Make sure he spills it for a small gain.
2nd and 8.
Man, there's like no defense for these Chargers. Wow. Just perfect timing, I guess. Okay, here we go. I know last week I had one of my better weeks. I went 12-4. And I don't know why I picked at least some of these games, but I had a great week last week. Unfortunately, my upset pick was Cleveland over the Chargers. That didn't go the right way. See, if the Chargers would have won, I would have done. If Cleveland would have won, I would have been simulating the Arizona Cleveland game. But instead, obviously, we're doing Baltimore Chargers because they're both 4-1. We want to see some action. Anyways, this week on the docket, we have Thursday Night Football, Tampa Bay at Philadelphia. I think last year when Tampa Bay played on Thursday night, they were in Chicago and they lost. But, the sun, it burns. Then Sunday, early action. We have Miami versus Jacksonville in Marriott, England, in London. I think that one's at Wembley. I'm not exactly certain, but then noon, 1 o'clock games kick off. We have Green Bay at Chicago, the oldest rivalry renewed once again. Cincinnati at Detroit. Houston at Indianapolis to see the battle of crappy teams. LA Rams at New York Giants. Kansas City at Washington. Minnesota at Carolina. LA Chargers versus Baltimore, which we are simulating right now in the snow apparently. And then we move to 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock Central. Let's see. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever. The late games, we have Arizona at Cleveland, Las Vegas at Denver, Dallas at New England. Sunday Night Football, which is going to be a just barn burner. Seattle at Pittsburgh. And on Monday Night Football, we have the Buffalo Bills versus the Tennessee Titans. So, let's talk about Thursday night football. Tampa Bay at Philadelphia. Excuse me. I feel like it's a no-brainer here. Tampa Bay, they improved to 5-1. Okay? The East, the Eagles, they suck, they stink. Even knowing it's a road game, even knowing short week, even knowing the home team's more likely to win. It's going to be defending champions are going to win. And we move on to Sunday, early morning for us in the States. About, isn't that like noonish? Give or take over there, a little late afternoon in England. Miami at Jacksonville. This is my upset of the week. Give me Jacksonville over Miami in London. I feel like Jacksonville has played close. They've had a little turmoil with their head coach. Let's turn around. Not saying Miami's any better, but it just seems like we send the crappiest of the crappiest teams to London. So, hey, worst case scenario, it's in a tie, and they're used to ties over there. So, but I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Jacksonville beating Miami in London. Green Bay at Chicago. Do I have to say any more? Or do I have to tell you? You know who I'm picking, hands down. I mean, we'll see what the years to come. I mean, Green Bay's defense is beat up. They are battered. But I'm just hoping their defense is strong enough to take care of business and put Chicago in their place. I mean, you know the old saying, you're only as strong as your weakest chain. So, Cincinnati at Detroit. This is another toughie. Detroit, I mean, Detroit has been on losing end, and I mean, it got to their coach so much that he started crying. He started crying, and it's like, oh my God, there's no crying football, is there? Excuse me. In Cincinnati, even knowing that the Packers sent Joe Burrow to the hospital because of throat issues, not because of choking, that would have been their kickers, both their kickers. Wow. But I think Cincinnati's going to win this game. I think Cincinnati's a better team. Even though I think Detroit's not as bad as they might seem to be, but I feel like the Bengals are more of a full team. So we'll see. I gotta go with Cincinnati. Houston at Indianapolis. I mean, Houston played last week and Indianapolis played last week. It's a horse apiece. Okay? Either one can win this game. It just depends on who has the ball last, in my mind. Both teams are horrible, both teams are struggling, and both teams are just trying to find their way. But I will go with the home team in this one. I'll take Indianapolis. LA Rams at New York Giants. Ugh. Do I have to say anymore? There's a reason why one team has one loss and the other has one win. So give me the Rams. Kansas City at Washington. This might be a little tricky, but I think more or less Kansas City is going to bounce back from last week's debacle against Buffalo. It's going to be like them against Philadelphia, and they're just going to beat the crap out of Washington and show why they're a high-power offense. And Patrick Mahomes maybe has 4 or 5 touchdown passes. I don't know. Because that Washington defense that's supposed to be stellar ain't showing up anytime soon. Unfortunately, they're retiring Sean Taylor's number 21, who was brutally shot and murdered. Was that in 07? 2010 for sure, but it was one of those. I think it was 2007, but anyways, we move on. I picked Kansas City. Kansas City's going to be Washington. Minnesota at Carolina. This is where I'm a little wishy-washy. I do feel like Minnesota is the better team. Their record might not show it compared to Carolina's, but I think I have here. I think in one pick 'em, I pick Carolina. This one I have Minnesota, but after thinking about it, I'm going with Minnesota here. I think they're a little bit the better team, but Carolina's the home team. Maybe they'll pull it off. It's hard to tell, but I think officially, this is my official pick, so I'm going with Minnesota. I don't like Minnesota. I wish the other 3 teams in the NFC North went 0-17 now, and Green Bay went 17-0. But truthfully, I'm going with Minnesota here. Now this one. Chargers actually got into the Ravens territory. Can they convert?
Justin Herbert looking to pass. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of
now we got this game to pick.
the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in
not going to be snowing.
It's got to be wearing on him out there.
It's going to be a much closer game. It's not going to be a 31-point deficit. Baltimore ain't going to run away with it. Will Baltimore score 38 points? I believe so. Will the Chargers score at least 38 points? I can believe it. But I'm going with the Chargers in this one. I know it's going to be an early game for them. They're on the road. But I feel like Chargers have been playing more well-rounded than the Ravens, especially if the Ravens had a comeback being down 25-9 and going to overtime.
Herbert on 3rd down now. Throws left side, complete to Keenan Allen. And he is going to have the Chargers first.
So, give me the Chargers in this one. I don't agree with Madden. I hope Madden goes 2-5 after this week. Then we move on to the late games. The other game I was tempted to simulate. Arizona at Cleveland. Even knowing Arizona have some COVID positive tests, give me Arizona. Well, this will be a great test, road test. And if they're legit taking a non-common opponent on the road,
will give this one to Eckler. And here he'll get
And
down to 7.
yeah, give me Arizona. I think they can stay undefeated for at least 2 more weeks until we have that big Thursday night game
School football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads,
against Green Bay.
people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So, but I would not be surprised if Cleveland somehow finds a way to, win. Anyways, then we move on. Las Vegas at Denver. Ooh, tricky here. It's like, is Vegas that good? Are they going to show why they're that good? Are they going to bounce back, take out a divisional opponent, and just be like, here we go? I don't think so. Denver's getting healthier. I think Denver's the home team. It's always tricky against rivals and divisional opponents. And I'm going with Denver. Denver over Las Vegas. Now here, Dallas at New England. This is my lock of the week. Them boys. What the? Them boys take care of business. They go up to New England and beat up Bill Belichick. And Mike McCarthy gets a W up there and improves to 5-1. Them boys, they win. They beat the Patriots.
Eckler again, and he's across for the touchdown.
Sunday Night Football, Seattle at Pittsburgh. Since Seattle has quarterback issues with an injured quarterback and a backup Geno Smith starting, I believe, give me Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh bounced back. They found a way to win last week. I think they're going to find a way to win this week. I'm going with Pittsburgh. And then Monday Night Football. It's not if they'll win, it's can they put 50 or 60 on the board? And I say yes. I say the Buffalo Bills are going to take Pittsburgh to the woodshed and just beat the crap out of them. So there you go. Those are my picks for the week. For my 14 picks. And now we still have a little less than 3 minutes left in this game. This game's actually going by pretty fast compared to my other simulations.
So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick.
No onside kick. Yeah, right. They're going to score, what is that? 24 unanswered points, right? Yeah, sure.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it.
Well, this one's pretty much over. Let's take a sneak peek into next week. Who was that? Week 7 already. Right, week 7 sounds about right.
I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
What type of matchups we might be walking into week 7 and what we want to simulate. Next Thursday night. Denver and Denver at Cleveland. I will not simulate Thursday night games, only Sunday games. Maybe a Monday night game, give or take, but I don't want to push it too much. Otherwise we got Washington at Green Bay, no. Kansas City at Tennessee, no. Atlanta at Miami, no. The New York Jets at New England, no. Carolina at the New York Giants, no. Cincinnati at Baltimore has some interest to that. Philadelphia at Las Vegas? No. Detroit at Los Angeles Rams? No. Houston at Arizona? No.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. What has been
Chicago
a
at
one-sided affair.
Tampa Bay? Indianapolis at San Francisco? Ugh. Then that's already the Sunday night game. Ugh. And finally we have New Orleans at Seattle. That's Monday night. Maybe? No, now they got plenty away. So, none of these games in week 7 look that good. Chicago, Tampa Bay, maybe. Cincinnati, Baltimore. I'm leaning it. I mean, if both Baltimore and Cincinnati win this week, sure. Well, even if Baltimore loses and Cincinnati wins, it'll be a fight for first place in the AFC North. Tucker.
And that one's not gonna get
what?
Juice and ambitious effort, but it's well short. And this score will stay.
Or he's kicking at the 48. That's at 10. That was a 58-yarder. Come on. So there's not too many sexy games next week. It is what it is, though. At first glance, I can't tell you who has a bye besides Minnesota for sure. And Dallas. I don't see Dallas on here. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, that means 6 teams are on byes, and I can only name 2 of them. Well, Miami, they're supposed to play in London. They're playing right away next week, so. But week 8, maybe.
Looking to throw again on second down. Herbert, and this is Cook with a grab. 7 catches for him now, and this last one, a first down.
So, but, there we go. Time's running out. It is what it is, and there you go. More or less, let's just. Timeout. Why are you wasting a timeout? You gonna score another touchdown? Sure, be my guest. You're only 39 yards away and 31 seconds left.
So from the 39 now,
14 to 38.
Herbert.
Oh, maybe I typed that in too soon. Another timeout.
Now the Chargers will use the second of their timeouts.
Another timeout. Oh.
27 seconds showing on the clock.
Oh, yeah.
Herbert throwing again.
Caught. Are they gonna use their last timeout? No. Yeah, there's their last time. They better kick a field goal. They're down by 24, so they need that. Oh no, they don't. They just need 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions in 20 seconds. So it's possible. I'll eat my hat if they score a touchdown in those 20 seconds.
2nd and 2. Back to throw here, Herbert.
And that'll be the game. They won't have time to. How hurry up works in Madden, it takes like 20 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. That's the game.
Charles, we saw a lot of points go up in this one. Certainly defensively,
check where the errors are, how they're going to fix them, and continue to get better at what they do. But they also need a little adjustment with their
Yeah,
confidence.
good game, good
To give
game.
up
Yeah,
that
good
many
game, good
points,
game. Yeah,
even if
oh,
you win a
smile.
game, that can hurt you.
Just a dominant third quarter by Baltimore is what gave them the dub in this snowy mid-October Week 6 game. So yeah, there we go. Passing yards and average yards per play, but rushing, takeaways, and score, that's what the score is the thing that matters the most.
EA Madden NFL. The Ravens are victorious here as we say so long from Baltimore.
So there you go. There you have it. Baltimore 38, LA Chargers 14. We'll see. We'll see come this Sunday how Madden turns out. Maybe they can get the things rolling again and get hope closer to on the plus side. But anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see who we pick. Anyways, adios, muchachos.